What is up, Survivor Thrivers? Authentically Me, Regina B, is back with another video. It has been so long since I have sat down to film. It is June 4th. It is summer break for the kids. It is a Tuesday. And so I decided to just come on and shoot a little video. I just finished a really yummy yoga session. I didn't have any music to it. I curated it all in my head and flowed through it. And it just was just a yummy session. And so after I finished that, I was like, why not go on here and get updated on our somatic therapy workbook journey. For those of you that are new to the channel, this is a channel where I like to go through therapy workbooks and share with you guys any gems, anything that I've been doing in my own personal journey to healing that matches this. I've noticed that there's this huge somatic wave. The more that I look into it and research it, the more I'm like, somatic and yoga are kind of the same thing. Going inside of yourself, going inside of your body, noticing where you're maybe feeling tension or stress, and then maybe being able to pinpoint a thought or an emotion that was a result of that thought that is triggering that stress and tension. But on this channel, with this book by Cher Hampton, the Somatic Therapy Handbook, Self-Soothing Techniques for Healing Trauma, Enhancing the Mind-Body Connection, and Stress Relief. So we are on chapter 2 in our journey through this book. And this has way more reading than our therapy workbook that we worked on last time. So let's just get started with chapter 2. And I don't know if I've ever updated you guys, but we have a German Shepherd puppy now. We've had her since October, a little bit before October, but we got her when she was 3 months, and so now she's like 9 months, so you can do the math. Chapter 2, Understanding the Body-Mind Connection. Quote, "Your body hears everything your mind says." Naomi Judd. "If our bodies can't express it, our minds will repress. That mind-body connection is real. Deny one and the other will follow. Take a moment to think about this. How often do you stop yourself from listening to your body's cues and messages?" Not very often anymore now that I've been on this journey. Here's the thing, your mind is a treasure chest brimming with a dazzling array of thoughts, emotions, and experiences. Some of these treasures are iridescent and sparkle brightly, while others are hidden away in the depths, concealed from view. But what happens when the contents of this chest become too overwhelming for the mind to handle? The mind can become cluttered and clouded with negative thoughts and emotions that make it difficult to process information. Our bodies and minds are intricately connected like two performers in a show. They rely on each other to create a harmonious performance, to move in sync, each taking turn in the spotlight. But every now and then, the show might take somewhat of a twisted turn. When that happens, a torrent of emotions might surge through your veins, threatening to burst forth like a mighty storm. Anxiety, anger, sadness, all demanding a stage to express themselves. Yet sometimes the body fails to find the words or actions to convey these emotions adequately. That's when the mind steps in, the ultimate escape artist, I sometimes like to call it. It waves its wand and whispers, "Repress," in a swift motion, and helps you sweep those overwhelming emotions and experiences into the shadows of the subconscious. It is a defense mechanism, a coping strategy to protect us from the turmoil that threatens to consume us. But here's the thing that we have to understand. Just because the mind has tucked these emotions away doesn't mean they've disappeared. Oh no, they're lurking in the shadows, waiting for a chance to resurface. Like a pressure cooker left unattended, they build up steam, slowly but surely, and when that pressure becomes too much to bear, the mind's magic trick unravels. Pause for a moment, I'm also making lunch. Very nice. Okay, a little piece of paper. So it says, repression often manifests in various ways. It seeps into our dreams where the subconscious tries to make sense of the buried emotions. It may manifest as physical symptoms, headaches, stomach aches, or fatigue, signaling the body's plea for attention, or it may even manifest in unexpected outbursts when those repressed emotions burst forth like an untamed beast, catching us off guard in the most unexpected ways. When the body speaks, we ought to listen to what it wants and honor what's wrong. This is why. And so it's going into a different section. So my thoughts on that, I agree with all of that. I know for me, if I have repressed anger and I'm upset about something, but I pushed it down, I can hold it in for a while. But baby, if I like have a drink or something and I've repressed it, it'll come out either in crying, it'll come out, I'm often glad when it comes out in prayer, and I don't lash out at anyone in particular, my husband. But yeah, that anger I can't push that down. And I like how she is explaining how the mind and the body are connected. Breathing deeply when we're going through something that's very, very stressful can help our mind settle in and say, okay, this made me nervous. This loud sound frightened me, or whatever the case may be. And then marrying all the resources that we have, and then with me for like my yoga sessions, and what I'm discovering in yoga is that a lot of the postures are intended to release certain emotions or to help you express certain emotions, to release tension that you may be holding somewhere in your body. I've learned that pigeon pose, you can look it up, is a really good pose to go into to feel what emotions you're feeling and also to release stress and tension. We carry a lot of our repressed emotions, experiences in our hip area. Well, at least I know I do. So she said, when the body speaks, we ought to listen to what it wants and honor what's wrong. This is why. The body has boundaries and impulses that we can trust. The body is a complex yet remarkable thing. It has all these mechanisms that allow us to engage and interact with the world around us. It possesses a pearl of innate wisdom and signals that can help guide us through life as we heal, evolve, and grow. One of the foundational aspects of its existence is the boundaries that serve to help us differentiate what is and isn't for us. These are the instincts, feelings, and sensations that help us define our space, our safe spaces, spaces that protect us from the world out there. Trusting our body's boundaries and impulses is a non-negotiable aspect of our psychological well-being. It's what helps us recognize and identify our needs. It's what gives us the wisdom to honor our wiring and to take care of ourselves in healthy and sustainable ways. When we trust ourselves and our bodies, we become more in tune with our emotions, our physical sensations, and our instincts. This knowledge that we acquire simply by being in tune is what helps us to make decisions that align with our values, leading to a stronger sense of purpose and direction. Ways through which our bodies communicate boundaries. I'm going to stop right there before we go into it. I mean, I totally agree with this. Being on this journey and doing all the work that I've been doing, seeking therapy, looking through therapy workbooks and doing the journey, sharing with you guys on this channel, all of these things have helped me to become more aware of my emotions and more in control of my emotions, composure, equanimity, being able to be under pressure but be composed. And throughout this journey, I have become so much more mindful of thoughts that don't serve me, of negative pattern thoughts that are coming into my mind, and being able to stop them sooner than later. Being aware of if I'm tight in my shoulders, if I'm tight in my hips, and then being able to express myself through my enjoyment of running and listening to my worship music, and being able to pray and process throughout my run and breathe and do something positive that I enjoy for me, that I find rewarding, and then being able to enjoy a yoga practice that the Ancient of Days, God Most High, knows where it originated from, and He knows that the breath work and the movement, and then the final resting posture, and then the final meditation is a way for us to be realigned. It's a way for us to sharpen our instincts. Because sometimes when you got to hold a certain yoga pose, especially in balancing poses, like dancing Shiva or something, you really got to know where your foundation is. And that was one of the poses that I was flowing through. And it was so beautiful because as I'm trying to hold this pose, the song Firm Foundation came into my mind. And it was, Christ is my firm foundation, the rock on which I stand. So I was able to have a little bit more of a firmer grip in that foot that was on the ground, and a little bit more confidence in that foot that was in that leg that was extended out. And I took more time to turn backwards, to turn my gaze back as I gazed at my extended hand. And so just being able to even go through those rewarding moments, it helps me in moments where recently I've realized, like, oh wow, you handled that situation so well. Everything that you said and everything that you did, you handled it so well, and you kept your composure. So I do agree. Your instincts become sharper. You're able to set more boundaries. You're able to be okay with setting boundaries. Okay, survivor thrivers, because some of us have had to journey through this and had to realize that our boundaries are not problems. Our boundaries are how we respect ourselves and keep ourselves safe. So anyway, let's go back into this. She says, ways through which our bodies communicate boundaries. They send messages through pain and discomfort. Pain is one of the most obvious ways our bodies communicate boundaries. When we experience pain or discomfort, it is often a signal that there is something that needs to be addressed. For instance, if we overexert ourselves during exercise, our body may send us pain signals to indicate that we need to stop or slow down to prevent injury. So true. Fatigue and rest. The body has a natural rhythm that includes the need for rest and rejuvenation. When we're tired, it is a clear indication that our bodies require rest. Ignoring this boundary can lead to exhaustion, decreased productivity, and potential health risks. Respecting our body's needs for rest allows us to show up for our lives with the vitality and an infectious kind of energy. Hunger and fullness cues. The body has a built-in mechanism to regulate our food intake. When we feel hungry, it is a signal that our body needs nourishment and energy. On the other hand, when we feel full or satisfied, it is a boundary indicating that we have consumed enough food. Listening to these cues helps us maintain a healthy relationship with food and avoid overeating or undereating. Our bodies also have boundaries when it comes to personal space and touch. We may feel uncomfortable or violated when someone invades our personal space without consent or touches us inappropriately. These bodily boundaries are important for maintaining our sense of safety, autonomy, and sense of self-respect. Our bodies can also communicate boundaries related to our emotional and mental well-being. Feeling like being overwhelmed, stressed, or anxious can signal that we need to take a step back, practice self-care, and seek support. When we ignore these, we might find ourselves burnt out, in a state of emotional distress, and completely disassociated from our external world. It is not our job to pretzel ourselves into something that we're not. Dimming or silencing our body's voices only creates an array of psychological health issues in the long run. The mindset begins in the body. What we think comes directly from what we feel. How are you holding and honoring your body's boundaries right now? How can you create more open space for your body sensations to exist freely as they can? So I will answer the question and then I'll go into my thoughts. So she said, how are you holding and honoring your body's boundaries right now? I'm sitting in a way that feels comfortable to me. I am dressed in a way that feels comfortable to me. So that's one way I'm holding and honoring my body right now. How can you create more open space for your body's sensations to exist as freely as they can? I think continuing to stay physically active, continuing to enjoy flowing through yoga, definitely more journaling. I do feel good in my body when I've completed a journal entry. Yeah. And going back into the body has boundaries and impulses, and then ways that the body communicates that to us. Pain and discomfort, for sure. I've learned that definitely in my running journey. Like if you are doing too much running, too much of the same of the kind running, for me, it starts to talk to me in my groin. And that's when I'm like, oh, okay, I may need to back off. I may need to do like a slow run. I may need to switch up where I'm running and maybe run outside instead of on my treadmill. So pain is definitely a huge indicator for me. My emotions manifest itself definitely in my body. I can definitely tell when a boundary has been crossed. If I feel, I think what I've worked through with my therapist is feeling disrespected is a huge trigger, and it locks me up. Like my stomach feels like super duper hard, like it's become like cement, and I'm cloudy. You know, if anybody wears contacts, I wear contacts. You know how when they get dry and you can still see, but it's like a little blurry. That's how I feel like in my head. There's a fly in here, but you know, it's summer and the kids are running in and out. Keep your composure, right? Hunger and fullness cues. I definitely notice when I'm hungry because I don't feel hunger often. Like, you know how some people are like, oh, my stomach hurts, I'm hungry. Or you get that, I don't really often get that crampy feeling in my stomach when I'm hungry. So when I do feel that, I'm like, okay, I need to eat. What time is it? And then fullness cues. It just, for me, it depends on what I'm eating. But I will say when I don't listen to the fullness cues, especially if it's something that I like eating, like margarita pizza, and I'm like, okay, you need to stop at this one piece. But, you know, I go for the two. When I go past that fullness cue, it leads me into body dysmorphia. Like it leads me into thoughts of feeling fat or feeling overweight. Even though I know that I'm not, I feel like I've gained a bunch of weight just because I sat here and I didn't stop eating when I should have. So I definitely agree with the hunger and fullness cues. And then it says, personal space, for sure. Oh, get out of here, fly. It's just enjoying being in here. I do have personal space, like boundary. I don't like to be touched. And if, you know, someone reaches out for a hug, I might wince a little bit, but then I'll hug them back if it's someone, you know, that I want to hug. Nobody has ever hugged me that I didn't want to, but it is this first thing like, oh, okay. And then I go into the hug. But if it's something where like I'm at the gym and there's some random man and maybe he's just, you know, touching my back saying, oh, excuse me, let me get by. I'll kind of be like, you could have just said, excuse me, sir. So yeah, I did. And I have to check that with my kids too, because kids like to touch, you know, they like to touch all over you as a parent. So I have to make sure that I keep my composure, because sometimes there's one of my kids that when I'm trying to let go after we've been, you know, like maybe holding hands or doing something silly, she likes to latch on. And it does kind of make me want to be like, don't do that. But I know that would hurt her feelings. So I'm very mindful of that. And I try to just, let's see. Our emotional and mental well-being. Oh yeah, when we're overwhelmed, it definitely can trigger us. And then I love how she says we're not supposed to turn ourselves into a pretzel. to be something that we're not. We're not. And I feel like that's why I call us not just survivors, but survivor thrivers, because we weren't meant to just survive. We were meant to thrive. We were meant to have an abundant life. That's what the scripture says. And so I agree, we shouldn't try to turn ourselves into something that we're not. You know, God loves us fully and wholly. He loves the whole part of us, the good and the bad, or, you know, the mistakes that we make and the achievements that we accomplish. And he loves the whole part of us, whether we're happy, sad, angry. His love is so unconditional. And so I just feel like the best way that we can honor God as well as honor others is to be ourselves. I feel like people are more attracted to our imperfections than what we perceive as our perfections. So then it's going to get into the body stores information, which is so true. And yoga is a great way to get into your joints, get into your deep muscle tissue, because you know how in fitness they say muscle memory. If you have muscle memory, and let's say you've been, you know, out of the fitness game for a little bit of time, that muscle memory will start to build as you start to get back active. And so I really want to go in this right now, but my kids just came in and I know they're hungry and they're ready to eat. But I'm super duper excited to get into this part because the body does hold memories. And there are ways that we can, like this book says, self-soothe when we are as they have deemed it triggered. It could be something as simple as sitting in butterfly pose. So this is butterfly, and just massaging the bottom of your feet. It could be laying on your back, bringing your knees into your chest, making yourself into a tiny ball and just hugging yourself and just rocking on that low back from side to side. It can be coming down into a child's pose, a sign of, you know, surrender. Let's say you are having a lot of negative rushing thoughts coming in and it is starting to make you feel down on yourself, or there's something out there that's making you feel anxious, or something that you're excited for, you know, a different type of anxiety, excitement, anticipation. You know, you can go down into child's pose and just surrender it. You know, I like to imagine like I'm bowing at the throne, you know, I'm you know, because we don't go into a lot of those ancient postures anymore. And yoga allows us to do that. And for me, I marry my yoga with my faith. And so it helps me to go into, I'm just laying prostrate in front of you, Lord. So the body does store information. We're going to get into that the next video. I am going to try to become more frequent again with my videos. Life just got ahead of me. As you guys know, your girl is a personal trainer now. I have several clients in rotation, which I'm super humbled by and grateful for. And I've been teaching yoga on Saturdays at 3 p.m. Those classes have been so beautiful, so encouraging. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy the look on people's faces when we come to the end of class. I enjoy the support that I've gotten from the other instructors that have been doing it way longer than me. I also, this past Saturday, June 1st, I taught, it's the series that we have locally called Yoga at the Amphitheater. And it's free, but it's at our local amphitheater, which is a big old stage. They have concerts and stuff like that. It's at 8 o'clock in the morning, and I was able to get us kicked off on that and instruct that class this past Saturday, which was so much fun. Then I had to process through some self-sabotage. You know, like I hit this super high on Saturday and it was awesome. I had the 8 o'clock class, I had the 3 p.m. class, you know, everything was just up here. And sometimes, like me and my niece talk about this, sometimes when I'm way up here and I'm just like, oh my God, this has been amazing. I can self-sabotage, and I'm still getting used to everything being okay. I'm still getting used to that. I'm still getting used to being like, man, that was a fantastic day. And like those feelings of elation and this and that, I'm still getting used to that. I don't know if this resonates with any of you out here. I'm used to looking for the bad or looking what's wrong or trying to like anticipate like what's about to come my way. So much so to where when things are going good, and I learned this from my therapist, I was sharing with her, when things are going good, something stopped me and I'm like, is everything good? Is it okay for everything to be good? Is it okay to feel like this? And she explained to me that that's like a form of self-sabotage. She said, because what usually happens after you are having this wonderful moment of just being and existing and being present and being grateful and being joyful and peaceful, all the things that the word tells us to do, what happens when you start being like, is everything good? Is everything okay? Is it okay to this? I start to do little things that will start to make me or my situation feel not okay. And that's a form of self-sabotage. So when I'm one of those people, when I learn something, a definition, because I thought I knew what self-sabotage was. I thought that was like, you get a new job and Billy gets a new job and Billy shows up late the first day, but he was, or something like that. Or Billy's in a really good relationship, but Billy decides to go and start flirting, with a woman, or I don't know. But I thought it was like that. I didn't know there could be subtle ways that you could be self-sabotaging. So I hope that helps someone out there. And thank you guys for being along the journey with me. It really encourages me to keep going. Every time I sit down and do one of these videos, it enriches me, it blesses me, and it helps me feel like I'm in my purpose, because I just want to help. That sometimes is my biggest prayer, is like, if there's someone out there that's like me, that feels alone, or feels alone, or or is looking for maybe somebody that is a little farther along in the journey, but we had like same, like I see you see me, we see our story, we hear our story, we're like same, then that's my hope. That's my hope, just to help you along your journey as you help me along my journey. So my child is in here. I'm about to close it down. Again, thank you so much for rocking with the channel. You could have spent your time doing anything else, but I thank you for the time that you spent here with me on this video. Make sure you find an opportunity to get out there and get after whatever your get after is. If you are able to get after it, I love you. God loves you so much.